Well, hello, Laker fans. I am Corey Coombe here with my partner Mitchell McLaughlin, and we're here for your Laker broadcast here at Cobb Field as Lake Oswego takes on the South Medford Panthers. Big game tonight. It's going to be a tough one, Mitchell.
Yeah, it should be a pretty good one for the Lakers. They came out a little bit sluggish last week after their week off with the first-round bye in the playoffs. Coach Corey was not too pleased with them at halftime from what I've heard from some of the players. They came out in the second half and really put a beating on the other team, and they ended up blowing out the other team. But I think today you're going to want to see them come out a little bit quicker than they did last game.
And that's the thing about the playoffs. No matter what sport it is, you always, especially when you're the top team, you always have to come prepared because those underdogs are always trying to get the Cinderella story going. And last week, McNary tried to compete, and they competed for the first half, but then Lake Oswego finally figured it out, and they stepped on them and ran away with it in the third quarter.
Absolutely, and that's what you got to do if you're Lake Oswego. You got to be thinking that you're going to get everyone else's best game, and that's what they got from McNary last night. They played turnover-free football, and they kept the Laker offense on the sideline for most of the first half, and that's what allowed them to stay in the game. We'll see if South Medford can do that here today.
And Harrison Reese, number 12, here to kick off. He'll start us off, and he's ready to go. And there's the opening kickoff. South Medford's going to catch it at about the 8-yard line. He's going to return it out. He's going to cut up the middle. He's got some solid blocking, but he's going to get brought down at around the 27-yard line of South Medford, and now bring on the South Medford offense here.
Pretty good return there for South Medford, getting it out near the 30-yard line. Good to not start deep in your own territory, especially against this very high-powered LO defense.
Yep, and just for you fans at home, there was a defensive switch. Chad Walker, number 13, will be starting at cornerback tonight, replacing Chandler Kelly.
Yeah, Chandler Kelly going out with an injury this week. Should be a good opportunity for Chad Walker to step up into the spotlight.
South Medford's going to toss it to the left side, and then Reed Martin and Nick Underwood singling that he fumbled it. But the rest are going to say he is down, but Nick Underwood and Reed Martin in there on the tackle in the backfield. That's to make this second and about 11.
That's a great play right there by the Laker defense of getting into the backfield, reading toss early, and creating penetration so that the South Medford running back wasn't able to get upfield. I think if South Medford wants to win this game tonight, they're going to have to throw the football. Should be interesting to see if they can do that.
Lake Oswego on defense, South Medford in the I formation, two receivers to the right. 11:15 left here in the first quarter. Quarterback drops back, looks toward the sideline. Chad Walker comes in. Could have had the interception, but he was going for the big-time hit. But you got to see where the ball is, Chad. He almost had an interception there.
Yeah, he probably could have had a chance to intercept that. Ball was overthrown by the quarterback. But that's what you like to see out of someone who's coming off the bench. Chad Walker, obviously a very aggressive player, lays a big hit on him there. Probably could have intercepted the pass, but you like to see is that aggressiveness early.
Luckily, the hit was low enough that he wasn't going towards the head and got a personal foul call, which the refs have been looking for all year long. It's a big issue in all football. Now, South Medford in the shotgun formation, 3rd and 11. 11 minutes left here in the first quarter. Quarterback rolls out to his right, screen back to the left side. And Nick Underwood and Spencer Anderson and Mitch Lomax all over there to make the tackle. And that's going to force a 4th and long, and that's going to force the South Medford team to come out and the special teams to come out and punt this one.
That's a great job by all three of them there, reading the screen pass, seeing that the line is letting them through, finding and identifying who the screen is to, and just going after him and taking him down. Great job there by the Laker defense.
For Lake Oswego, they have number 11, Jack Anderson, back to return at about the 48-yard line. South Medford, punter's back, looks ready. There is some early movement, they might be on Lake Oswego for drawing the offensive player off sides, but we'll see what they come up with. And yes, they're going to say that Lake Oswego drew the offensive players off sides.
Yeah, it's a pretty smart play right there by South Medford, using a little bit longer of a count than you normally see on a punt snap, and it cost the Lake Oswego Lakers 5 yards.
It's going to make this 4th and 11. And now they're going to punt it back to Jack Anderson. Jack is going to catch this. He's going to make one tackler miss, stiff arms the next, but gets brought down by the back of the jersey. I'm surprised there wasn't a horse collar there, but the ref said it's a clean hit. The coaches are all arguing it down there, but they said it's a clean hit. And Lake Oswego will have the ball at the 48-yard line.
Yeah, generally when you see someone pulled down from an awkward position like that from behind, you will get the horse collar call. A little surprised we didn't see one there.
Lake Oswego, the high-powered offense coming down the shotgun. Connor Griffin, the playmaking receiver on the left side. You got Anderson in the slot, Lomax in the other slot, Palomini to the right, and J.B. Holmes back there with Rupee. Rupee and Holmes run the read option. Holmes makes 2 tacklers, 3 tacklers miss, but he fumbles it, and it looks like South Medford may have recovered it. South Medford did recover it. J.B. Holmes made plenty of tacklers miss, but eventually just got hit and wasn't holding on to the ball strong enough, and that put that one on the carpet, and now South Medford will have the ball.
Obviously not the way you want to start off on offense if you're LO. Your defense got you out of there forced a 3 and out on the first series, but now they're right back out on the field and about another 20 yards downfield for the South Medford Panthers. So their defense is gonna have to fight through this a little bit. Haven't seen this much adversity faced by the Lakers before.
Now South Medford's going to go to the shotgun at the 43-yard line on 1st and 10. Quarterback handoff up the middle. He's going to get met at the line, but he's going to find his way to gain about 2 yards there for South Medford. Strong running.
You know, the Lakers are doing a good job of getting into the backfield early, but they need people in the secondary level to come up and help them make the tackles because they're getting good penetration, but they're not getting big hits in the backfield. They're getting arm tackles on him, and the South Medford running back is really slipping those quite easily.
Now South Medford in the shotgun. Quarterback's ready. Quarterback takes a snap, looks towards the sideline, throws it out there. High throw. There's a high throw, but they said it's incomplete. Romello Washington in on the coverage. Great coverage. Forced him out of bounds. High throw from the quarterback, and the quarterback looks a little nervous. He is the second-string quarterback for South Medford, only a sophomore. And he's going to step in here on 3rd and 7, and big third-down conversion for South Medford, hoping to maybe get a lead here early in the game. Quarterback drops back, fakes the handoff, looks downfield, goes a bullet little high right through the receiver's hands and missed his receiver, number 11, Adrian Garcia, who's supposed to be their playmaker on offense, right through his hands, had him downfield. Good pass by the quarterback, just dropped it.
That's a great job by the offensive line of South Medford getting their quarterback a ton of time in the pocket there. Generally, with this Lake Oswego defensive line and the speed it has, quarterbacks haven't had much time to throw against this Lake Oswego defense this year, and that's kind of masked some of the issues they might have had at corner.
And the punt's downfield. It's a low one, wobbly. It's going to bounce, and Anderson's going to let this one go, but it's a good punt for South Medford. Takes a South Medford bounce down inside the 10-yard line, and Lake Oswego will have ways to go.
Yeah, you're starting to see a little bit more of those nowadays in high school football and in college football. Is the rugby-style punt. You want to kick it, you want to wait a little bit and be patient before you kick the football, but then kick a low-line drive and try and get that topspin effect and not give the return man very much ability to return the football.
Justin Rupee this time under center. Griffin to the left. Palomini in the slot with him. Holmes in the backfield. 9:09 left in the first quarter. Nick Underwood in motion. Rupee's going to hand off to Holmes this time. Holmes up the middle and is going to get tripped up after a gain of about 6.
Yeah, it's a good solid run on first down there for Lakers. Good to get the ball right back into J.B. Holmes' hands, get those fumble thoughts out of his mind. Good solid run right there on first down.
It's going to make this a 2nd and 5 for the Lakers. And the Lakers have the play call. This time in the I formation, Nick Underwood at fullback. Holmes in the backfield. Griffin and Palomini to the left. Rupee under center. Rupee takes a snap. Hands off again to Holmes. Holmes got a hole up the middle. Holmes is going to get tripped up at the 28-yard line, but he had daylight there.
That was a great tackle by the South Medford safety right there. J.B. Holmes made a great cut, and he made a great play to stay in front of him, probably saving a touchdown right there. But that's what you're saying. You're seeing South Medford starting to bring some pressure up the middle, and that's good if you're South Medford. You want to be aggressive, but if J.B. Holmes can break through that initial wall of the blitz that South Medford is bringing, he's got open field to the end zone.
He had a bunch of green in front of him, but it's good enough for a Laker first down, 1st and 10. Spencer Anderson now in the backfield replacing Holmes. Rupee's going to hand off to Anderson. Anderson up the middle, and he's going to get a solid gain of about 7 yards. That's going to make this 2nd and 3.
Yeah, it's a good run. They like using Spencer Anderson as kind of a change of speed back. He's got a little bit more speed than JB does, but both of them very formidable running backs. I think you might see them setting up play action here. You want to see Connor Griffin out on the outside. He's isolated up at the top of your screen.
Rupee in the shotgun. Anderson, Palomini, and Washington to the left. He's going to hand it off. And he's to Anderson. Anderson's going to get no gain, maybe a yard on that one.
Yeah, it was a good job by the South Medford defensive line of crashing down on the end. Normally, it's Justin Rupee's job to read that end. Sometimes the zone read option, he's reading the defensive end, who they'll leave unblocked on purpose. Looked like that was a design handoff. Good by the South Medford defensive end to come down the line of scrimmage and make the tackle.
Rupee under center, I formation. Anderson still in the backfield. Griffin to the right, Palomini to the left. Lomax in motion. Rupee, hand off up the middle to Anderson. Anderson's going to trip down. He's going to fall towards the first down, and I don't know if he had enough.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get a very good spot. It looks like it's going to bring up 4th down for the Lakers, and should be an interesting call for Coach Corey here early in the game.
The official is going to call for a measurement, but I do believe he might have been a half a yard short there. Just tripped up at the line of scrimmage, falling forward, but not enough. And that, I'm guessing, it's going to force a 4th and inches.
Yeah, I think that was a good play call right there by Coach Corey. I might have liked to have seen a toss right there, utilize Spencer Anderson's speed, but they didn't quite get it, and is going to bring up 4th down, and it'll be interesting to see what Coach Corey and his Laker offense does right here.
Now, Lake Oswego's going to go for it on 4th and inches. Lake Oswego bringing out their goal line formation set. No receivers. Got the big boys in to block. Nick Underwood in motion. Justin Rupee using the hard count. Hand off to Holmes. Holmes up the middle, and he's going to get tackled, but he's good enough for a 1st down. Lake Oswego 1st down, and they're going to get the ball to about the 39-yard line. The cornerback for South Medford's complaining to the ref out there.
That's a good job by J.B. Holmes right there of knowing what he has to get, not trying to do too much. A lot of running backs try and bounce that outside when they don't see too big of a hole there, and they end up not picking up that 1st down on 4th down. Good job by J.B. Holmes of just picking it up to keep the chains moving.
Lake Oswego 1st and 10 with about 6:15 left, 39-yard line. I formation, 2 receivers to the right. Rupee handoff, and Holmes going to get stopped in the backfield for about a 2-yard loss. Make this 2nd and 12 with 6 minutes left in the 1st quarter.
Yeah, we haven't really seen it. We haven't seen LO throw the football yet, and I think South Medford's starting to key on that, and they're starting to say, hey, if you're going to run the ball all day, we're going to stack the box, and you're going to have to beat us over the top with the passing game. Connor Griffin's isolated at the top of your screen, though. I'd be surprised if you don't see a deep ball here to him.
Lake Oswego in the shotgun. Rupee's going to fake the handoff. Hits Anderson in the middle. Makes one tackler miss and takes a hit around the 1st down, but I think he's going to be a half a yard short. Anderson ran a curl route in the middle of the field. Rupee found him, made one tackler miss, but was just short of the 1st down. That's going to force a 3rd and about 1.
Good read there by Justin Rupee, not trying to force it over the top. Seeing Jack Anderson was right there on the good solid curl route. Made this a very 3rd and manageable.
Rupee in the I formation. Quick snap. Holmes up the middle. Oh, and he gets pulled down from behind after he gains the 1st down. Almost had some room in front of him, but
that was a great jump cut in the backfield right there by J.B. Holmes. Almost looked like he was going to get stopped behind the line of scrimmage for a loss. Managed to spin out of it and get up for the first down.
Lake Oswego running a quick snap. South Medford wasn't ready. They just got to the line and ran the play right away. And now Lake Oswego's going to go to the spread formation. 4 receivers. Griffin isolated on the left side. Palomini, Anderson, and Washington to the right. 1st and 10, 4:35 left. Rupi fakes the handoff, throws it to Anderson on the screen pass, but Anderson drops it. And they're going to say it's a fumble. They're going to say it's a fumble, and South Medford's going to take this one back. Touchdown, South Medford. I'm surprised by that. I do not agree with that call. I thought it was definitely a forward pass.
Wow, that is just a horrible call by the refs right there. Jack Anderson clearly not in possession of the football, still juggling it as he was going forward, as Justin Rupi threw it a little bit behind of where you'd want him to throw it. Refs said he made a football move with the ball. That gave him possession and then the ability to fumble. South Medford recovers, takes it back to the house. Lakers find themselves down for, I believe, the first time this season.
Yeah. And South Medford's going to attempt the extra point, and that's a very interesting call. I'm surprised that Coach Corey wasn't able to pull out the challenge flag on that one.
Yeah, well, instant replay is something that's being expanded right now in all forms of sports. It's only a matter of time before it reaches the high school game, and right now would be a really good time to have that, because I think if the refs could see that again, they might not say it's a fumble. But this should be a good test for the Lake Oswego Lakers. Obviously started slow last week. Coach Corey obviously can't be happy with this start this week with 2 turnovers already, 1 return for 7 points for South Medford. But you gotta just let it roll off you, and you gotta come out and just get the ball back here, and you gotta really avoid those turnovers. Generally, the team that wins the turnover battle is the one that's going to win the game, and that's why LO has been so dominant this year, is because of their defense's ability to create takeaways and give their offense short fields to work with.
And you got Romello Washington, Chad Walker back there for the return. And Lake Oswego, as you said, they haven't been down much. You know, you really want to see the heart. This will test the heart of the team. You really want to fight back here. You don't want to let South Medford, who's a pretty good team, you don't want them to get any confidence going into halftime. You need to start putting some points up on the board, and you want to try to destroy their confidence early, because in the playoffs you don't want to give teams hope.
Especially, that's how upsets happen, is you start off with a team that's clearly better than another team, but then all of a sudden that team that's not quite as good gets a little bit of momentum, and they start thinking, hey, maybe we can pull this thing off, and that's when upsets happen.
And South Medford's going to kick it deep. Kick it to Romello Washington, who's going to keep it from going into the end zone. He's going to return it. He's going to go up the middle. He's got nothing. He's going to fumble it. But they did say he was down. Whew. I don't know about that call, though, either.
Yeah, we're going to call that a makeup call right there, because he was clearly not down. But if you're an LO fan, you will take that, as the refs botched the last one. But, wow, you're seeing these Lake Oswego kids, they're fighting for extra yards, and they're being held up, and they're just the South Medford defenders are grabbing at their ankles, and they're just holding them there. And then it's the second guy coming in delivering the big hit right on the football that's really allowing for them to create turnovers.
That must be a makeup call, because that looked like it could have been a fumble, but Lake Oswego will take it at the 20-yard line. Rupi in the I formation, toss right to Anderson. Anderson's going to use his speed, try to get it to the outside, but tackled after only a 4-yard gain.
That's the more of the play call you usually see with Spencer Anderson, generally using the toss, trying to get to the edge there. Good job of flowing with him by the South Medford defense. They kept contained on him pretty well. Only let up, looks like about 3 yards there. This will make it probably about second 7, second 6 maybe, if you're being generous from the spot.
Now, Lake Oswego's going to come to the spread formation. Washington to the far left. Anderson and Palomini on the inside. Rupi's going to fake the handoff. He's going to look downfield for Washington. Overthrows Washington completely, but Washington held the DB a little bit to keep him from getting to that ball.
Yeah, it's a smart play right there by Washington. Clearly, these refs are struggling right now. They're not sure of their calls. Ball was overthrown right there by Justin Roop. We probably didn't have Romello open. It looked like it was pretty good coverage by the South Medford DB. And looks like that South Medford DB actually had the best shot at the ball, and Romello just held on to him so in order to avoid another turnover by Lake Oswego. They do not look very confident on offense right now. They're going to have to turn it around right here.
And Lake Oswego's going to come back to that spread formation again. Griffin isolated on the right side. Romello Washington on the left side. Palomini and Anderson in the slot. Ruppy's going to take the snap. He's going to look towards the sideline to Griffin. A high throw, though. And it's incomplete on 3rd and 6. And that's going to bring out the Lake Oswego punting unit.
And if you're Lake Oswego, that is not what you want to see right now. South Medford just caught a break on a call from an official, took it back to the house for 7 points, and then you come in and go 3 and out deep in your own territory, and South Medford is going to start with the ball pretty deep in your territory. I mean, this is not looking good so far here for the Lakers tonight.
And you got Connor Griffin back there to punt. Good snap. Griffin gets a high punt. Towards the right side. The return man's going to return it. It's down the sideline, but he's going to get tackled at about the 46-yard line.
Yeah, good starting field position here for South Medford inside on the Lake Oswego side of the field. Lake Oswego is going to have to trust their defense to keep stepping up and make a play like they have all season long.
And South Medford's going to go to the spread offense. They're going to look to the wide receiver screen. But multiple Lakers back there. Anderson, Lomax, and Washington all over there.
That's a really great read by all 3 of them right there. As the quarterback did a good job on the play, looking off the screen, looking off the other way to screen, trying to fool the safety right there. None of them bid on it, and they were all right there to make the tackle.
And so South Medford will have the ball 2nd and 13 at about the 49-yard line at Lake Oswego. Quarterback's going to take the snap. He's going to hand it off up the middle. He's going to get down after a 3-yard gain, make this 3rd and 10.
Nice tackle right there by, I believe it was Austin Fonts in the middle. It's just been a beast for the Lake Oswego defense right here. Let's see if he can get some pressure on the quarterback this play on this 3rd and long. Try and get the ball back into the hands of the Laker offense.
We got a 3rd and 10 for South Medford. 2 minutes left in the first quarter. South Medford in a spread formation. Lakers got 3 down linemen. They bring 4. Quarterback throws it out towards the sideline, and a great tackle by Nick Bunick. Nick Bunick sniffed it out and just went in there, no hesitation at all, and took it out. Took out the receiver, and they're trying to get the ball to their playmaker, but Lake Oswego's been all over him all night.
That was a great job right there by Nick Bunick, coming up and making a tackle in open field. That's one of the toughest things to do in football. Most people don't appreciate it. It's really hard to tackle a guy one-on-one in open space. Good tackle by Nick Bunick right there.
And they'll be back to punt. South Medford. Got Jack Anderson back there for the Lakers again. Looking to return this one, get a solid turn. They're going to kick it right to him. Short punt. He's not going to fair catch it. He makes the first tackler miss, but he's going to get towards the sideline and tackled at about the 25-yard line.
I think so far South Medford, the thing that they're doing the best job at is avoiding letting Lake Oswego have a big play. Right there, just something as simple as that is just a punt return. A good punt return can spark your offense. A big play on defense. Yeah, they went 3 and out there on off. Yeah, they went 3 and out right there, but they didn't turn the ball over, and they didn't give Lake Oswego any momentum.
And Justin Ruppy will hand off to J.B. Holmes. J.B. Holmes going to get a run for about 8 yards there. Make this 2nd and 2 as the clock's ticking down towards 40 seconds left in the quarter, and I think Lake Oswego will have enough time to get off one more play.
I think the Lake Oswego line's doing an okay job right now of getting a push up front, but I think if they really want to start dominating this game as they should be, they need to start getting a push 2-3 yards down the line of scrimmage in order to really create an effective running game.
And Ruppy's in the spread formation. Rupee, he's going to tuck it and run here. Quarterback draw up the middle. He's going to get hit head on, which is a very risky play. You want your quarterback to get down there, but there's about 13 seconds left. The clock will stop for the first down, but I think Coach Corey's going to probably elect. I think he might elect to get into the quarter. They send Justin Rupee out there, but I don't know if he's going to have enough time. I think he's just going to, he's just going to wait for the clock to run out, and that's going to be the end of the first quarter. South Medford up 7-0 on Lake Oswego, as we got a nail-biter here already.
Yeah, pretty surprising score to be truthful about it. 7-0 is probably not something you'd expect from the Lakers not to score any points. If you think it's the first time they've been shut out all year in the first quarter, they're generally a very high-powered offense. They haven't showed it here today, and they need to come to play the rest of the game if they want to get a victory here tonight. But going back to that last play, that quarterback power with Justin Rupee, it's a smart play call. It allows you your line a little bit of an advantage because there's not that hesitation of the point where the quarterback's handing the ball off to the running back. But as you said, he took a big hit there at the end. And Justin Rupee's been the guy all year throwing the football around, and I think you really want to keep him healthy in this game. And you get knocked out. Obviously, concussions are a big part of football these days. You try and avoid them. But if you're going to dive forward like that, you'd like to see him get down and slide and protect himself.
And there's 12 minutes left here now that we're in the second quarter. Lake Oswego will have it 1st and 10 at their own 43 make that. So if you're Lake Oswego, you want to start attacking. You need to get some points up on the board because South Medford's come ready to play, and they've traveled a long ways, and they're going to give it their all. You don't want to go home 4.5 hours with a loss on your hands.
Absolutely.
Rupee in the shotgun. Nick Underwood back there with him. He's going to throw a screen pass to Mitch Lomax. Mitch Lomax going to run over one tackle, and he's going to get down towards the first down. He's going to be they're going to signal he's right at the first down. They might need a call for a measurement here.
Yeah, it's a good play calling there by Coach Corey. Quick screen to Mitch Lomax. Obviously get him on the outside, make the littler guys try and tackle him. And you're starting to see a little bit more of a hurry up here from Lake O on offense to try and get some tempo and flow into their offense.
And Lake Oswego's going to get back into that spread 1st and 10. Throws another screen pass low to Lomax, but Lomax is going to drop it, and they're going to say it's incomplete. But he dove on top of it just in case they called another fumble call.
Yeah, it's a good job by the South Medford defense getting in the backfield there, disrupting the throw from Justin Rupee. They're trying to hit simple routes right now, and it looks like they're going to bring in Jack Anderson for the Wild Jack formation right now with him and Nick Underwood in the backfield.
Jack Anderson now in that quarterback with Underwood with him. Anderson's going to run to the left side, up the middle, get some good solid blocking, and he's going to get a gain of about 6.
Yeah, good gain there on 2nd down. Try and pick up the yards that you didn't get up on 1st down. Bring us down to the 3rd and manageable. Still probably going to have to go to the air here, but you never know with Jack Anderson as he's staying in at quarterback. We have seen him throw out of this formation a couple of times this year, but generally been a predominantly running formation.
Anderson still at quarterback with 11 minutes left here in the second quarter. 3rd and about 4. Anderson this time is going to run to the right side. Gets nailed in the helmet. I'm surprised that there's not a flag for helmet-to-helmet contact.
Yeah, I don't think you can expect much out of these refs tonight. They've already missed a couple of calls. Pretty sure that was a clear helmet-to-helmet hit on Jack Anderson. He looks a little shaken up. He's heading to the sidelines. That'll bring up in a 4th and about 2 here for the Lakers, who really would like to convert this into a 1st down and try and put 7 points up on the board.
So it's going to be 4th and 2 at the South Medford 39-yard line. 10:28 left to go. Lake Oswego bringing in the goal line formation. Nick Underwood in motion. Rupee, handoff to Holmes to the left side. He's going to get tackled, and they're going to say he's short by a yard, and another stop for South Medford.
South Medford's doing a really excellent job of winning the battle up front, and that's why they've got the lead in this football game right now. They're just dominating up front. They're pushing the Lake Oswego offensive line back, and if you can't pick up 2 yards on a 4th down that you really need to have, you could be in trouble for a long time tonight.
South Medford's going to get the ball at their own 38 with 10-12 left in the game, 1st and 10. And Lake Oswego's defense has done well tonight, but haven't given up in the touchdown. But they might be tired from all the plays they've been on. Lomax gets in the backfield, forced a fumble. And it's still on the ground, but South Medford's going to recover it after a huge loss, though.
Great play right there by Mitch Lomax, getting into the backfield, forcing the fumble. Would have been great if LO could have jumped on that, but good job forcing it anyway, and that's what you need to see from this LO defense. The offense is slacking off a little bit tonight. They're having a little bit of trouble, but you need to see them come up and make a play. They need to make a play like they have all year long, and that's the thing that's going to get the offense jump-started, is if they see their defense out there working hard, that's what's really going to jump-start this Lake Oswego offense.
So this is going to be a long 2nd down, 2nd and about 25, as Mitch Lomax got in and made a great play, getting in there quickly and knocking the ball loose. South Medford's going to go to the I formation, hand off to the right side, as he is met by Mitch Lomax. Lomax again in on the tackle after a gain of about 4.
Yeah, it's a good job by Lake Oswego. Don't give up too big of a chunk of yardage there on 2nd down. Bring up a 3rd and about a mile here. So you really want to force them into a punting situation here. Don't let them get it down to about 4th and 3 or 4th and 2 where they might think about going for it. You want the ball back in your hand. And this is where you can make a play on defense if South Medford tries to pass the football here. You can bring it back. Chad Walker last week had a pick 6, brought it back to the house. You'd love to see another one of those again tonight.
South Medford in the I formation. They're just going to hand it off. Good blocking on that side of the field. But Jordan Horrock in on the tackle, and that's going to force a 4th and 13, and that's going to bring out the South Medford special teams. Not
too surprising call right there from South Medford. 3rd and very long. You don't want to make a mistake. You almost fumbled earlier on the possession. You got a 7-0 lead right now, which you have to be pretty darn happy with. All that you want to do is make sure you don't give Lake Oswego too good a field position to start out with, and they'll just punt the ball back to them.
South Medford back to punt. Jack Anderson again back there to return. High snap. He muffs it a little bit, and he's going to run with it to the right side, as Underwood had none of it, and Nick Underwood and Neil Wagner are going to force him inside, and Lake Oswego's going to get the ball good field position.
That's exactly what you're talking about. Big play from the defense. Less of a play, more than a miscue there by the South Medford punt unit, but you'll take that if you're LO. This is great. You're now starting, instead of starting on your side of the football field, you're starting with excellent position just as you have all year, deep in South Medford territory at about the 31-yard line. You really would like to convert that mistake into 7 points right here.
And the ref throws a flag. Might be a legal substitution, though.
Yeah, I think they broke the huddle with 12 guys. Nick Underwood was running off the field there at the end. And it is an illegal substitution penalty. This will push it back to 1st and 15 for the Lakers. Not what you like to see coming off a turnover for the South Medford Panthers.
And now Rupee in the shotgun. J.B. Holmes back there on 1st and 15. Rupee is going to keep it himself, run to the left side. He's got Griffin in front of him blocking. He's going to get towards the sideline. He's going to get pushed out at about the 12-yard line. Great play call by Coach Corey. Read option, and Justin Rupee made the perfect read.
Yeah, that was set up earlier in the game. A couple of plays. They ran a couple of plays that weren't very successful, that weren't zone reads. It was just a job. It was a sweep play for Justin's job there was to hand the ball off to the running back no matter what the defensive end did, and they left him unblocked. That time, his job was to read the defensive end, and he did it perfectly there. Defensive end crashed down the line of scrimmage. He took it for a big game and a Lake Oswego 1st down.
And Rupee's going to be in the shotgun. The play they like to call on the goal line is when you're expecting to run, they like to throw the lob to the corner to Connor Griffin. So they're going to hand it off to J.B. Holmes, though, this time. He's going to get up the middle. Going to get a gain. Going to get down to about the 7-yard line.
Yeah, good solid run right there on 1st down. You are starting to see JB fight for those couple extra yards. He has fumbled already once tonight. You might want to see him try and get down a little bit sooner, but you love the fight in him nonetheless.
Rupee handoff to Rupee's going to keep it himself, makes 2 tacklers miss, but his knee went down as he was trying to avoid the tacklers.
Yeah, that wasn't as great a read there on the zone read by Justin Rupee. Generally, you need to read the defensive end, but Lake Oswego needs to do a better job of blocking up front. South Medford is bringing a lot of pressure right now, and they need to do a better job of picking it up and not letting South Medford get as good a penetration as they're getting into the backfield right now.
Rupee's going to be in the shotgun on 3rd down and about 6. Rupee's going to hand it off up the middle. Nick Underwood's fighting his way towards the 1st down, but I think he's going to be a yard short.
Looks like there is a flag on the play, away from the play. Not sure what this is going to be on. And it's going to be an illegal shift against the Lakers. Once again, these self-inflicted penalties, they're just shooting themselves in the foot. They were gifted on the punt miscue by South Medford, and they're just not taking full advantage of it right now.
It's going to make this a 3rd and about 11. Third and 11 from the 14-yard line. As Rupee, I think he's going to look towards the end zone for either Griffin or Washington. Washington has been a go-to guy when they're focused on Griffin. So he's got lots of threats in the game right now, but they're going to be in the I formation, full back to the left. 6:30 left here in the 2nd quarter, 3rd and 11. He's going to look towards Griffin to the corner. Griffin with the catch in the back of the end zone. Touchdown, Lakers. Gryffindor for 6.
That's just a great pass right there by Justin Rupee. Most times it's Connor Griffin going up and making a great catch. That was just a better pass right there. Connor ran right by the cornerback, made a great catch, made sure he got his foot down inbounds. 6 points for Gryffindor. Lakers are on the board with 6:22 here to go in the 2nd quarter.
Rupee connecting with Griffin, and it seems to be the theme all year. No teams have decided to go with the double team, and they pay the price with Griffin ending up with another touchdown catch, 1st on the night. But he has caught a lot of touchdown passes this year, and Griffin Graves is going to knock in the extra point.
And that's big right there for the Lakers to have Griffin Graves back kicking extra points. It's been a little bit of an issue recently for the Lakers. Griffin Graves dealing with an injury. They've been having a little bit of trouble on the extra points, but you like to see that here in a close game. And I think if you're the Lakers, you want another score before half. You're getting the ball after halftime, and you really want to put this in the end zone one more time, go into halftime with the lead, take the momentum out of South Medford's sails. You've already done that a little bit right now by evening the score after one of their miscues, but you really want to bury them before halftime. Obviously, you're not going to have a 35-point lead like you have sometimes, but the ability to come out and score here, have your defense make another big play, and then score coming out of halftime, all of a sudden, instead of being up 7-0, South Medford is going to find themselves down 21-7, which against this Laker defense is going to be a very tough score to come back from.
So Harrison Reese, number 12, junior kicker, out there to kick from the 40-yard line. As Lake Oswego has tied this ball game up with 6:22 left in the 2nd quarter. Reese ready to go. Reese going to kick it off deep. South Medford's going to return this at about the 4-yard line. He's going to cut towards the right sideline. Romello Washington over there. Romello Washington will make the tackle.
Good containment there by Romello on the outside. South Medford has some good speed in their returners back there. Need to make sure we keep them contained. Good job by Romello there doing just that. And if you're the Laker defense right here, I want you to be aggressive. I mean, you want to look to cause that turnover. South Medford has been in this game so far, but they're going to be willing to give it away if you're willing to take it.
And South Medford's going to run it towards the left side. Romello Washington and Spencer Anderson, though, in on the tackle after a gain of about 3.
Yeah, a lot of teams have tried to run stretch plays against the Lakers this year, and it hasn't worked to much success because of the speed of this Laker defense. They flow to the outside so well and keep containment so well, and they force it back up into their linebackers, who are just amazing tacklers, and Mitch Lomax, Nick Underwood, and Michael Weiss has been a big player for him this year too.
South Medford now in the spread formation. 2 to the right, 2 to the left. They're going to run a little reverse. But Nick Underwood read it, and he just took the ball from him. Like taking candy from a baby, Nick Underwood.
That's what you like to see right there, Cotton. Solid play by Nick Underwood. Great play. That's the big time play I was talking about you wanted to see from this defense. Looks like we might get an excessive celebration penalty from these refs. Are you kidding me? Are they watching the same football game I am? Jesus. But anyway, the Lakers are now up 13-7 with 5.5 minutes to go. And now if you're South Medford, you're starting to panic. This Lake Oswego team can put up points in bunches.
And Nick Underwood takes the candy from the baby. He just went in there and took the ball from the kid. Didn't even need to tackle the kid. Took it and ran.
You know, when I said that South Medford will just hand them the game if you're willing to take it, I didn't really mean literally take the football out of your hands, but we'll take that all day long. And it is an unsportsmanlike penalty on the Lakers for excessive celebration. But if you're a Laker fan, you'll take that. Scoreboard now reads 13-7 Lakers pending the extra point. Penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
And Griffin Graves to kick. Horrock to hold. And Nick Underwood, the junior linebacker, who's one of the very few juniors that starts on this team, has been doing a great job all year. He's been a tough fullback for them, runs hard, and a great linebacker for them, and right there makes a big play.
Yeah, good job. Key to that, though, getting into the backfield early, creating penetration. That's what allows you to make a play for the defense. Great job reading the play there by Nick Underwood. Takes it from the running back, takes it to the house.
And Graves to kick, and the kick is blocked as the guy came right through the middle. Poor blocking. And Lake Oswego will lead this one, 13-7.
Well, that is just not what you like to see if you're a Lake Oswego fan. I mean, it's a good job creating a play on defense, really changing the momentum of how this game was going. But that extra point can come back to hurt you. I mean, in these close games like this, that could present a real problem later in the game.
And Lake Oswego will kick off here in the second quarter with 5:30 left in the game. Harrison Reed's going to kick off, and a special thanks to viewers in Helena, Montana. Part of the Horrock family and friends. Family connections through Laker Broadcasting. And Reed's going to kick it deep. And it's a short kick, but he's going to get a good solid return. He's going to get the ball towards the 50-yard line.
Yeah, it's a good starting field position here for the Panthers out near the 50-yard line. Obviously not what you wanted to see happen on your last offensive possession, but pretty good starting field position here. Let's see if they can make anything of it.
And thanks to Kate and Marcus Miller. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast. As Lake Oswego is up 13-7 with 5:24 left. Medford will have the ball. 1st and 10 at their 47-yard line. Quarterback in the shotgun, 2 in the backfield with him. They run a power to the left side. Nick Underwood in on the tackle, though, after a gain of about 5.
This South Medford offensive line is doing a good job of getting a good push up front downfield. Obviously, great play right there by Nick Underwood. But he's making the tackle 2-3 yards downfield, and obviously it's really hard to wrap up right after first contact, and he's getting that extra 2 yards for a solid 4 or 5 yard game on first down.
South Medford in the I formation. Receiver to the right, receiver to the left. Quarterback takes snap, hands off to the right side on 2nd and 5. And the runner's going to get a gain of about 2 yards, and that's going to make this 3rd and 3 for South Medford.
Yeah, good job by the Lake Oswego defensive line. Austin Fonts and Reed Martin crashing down there for the Lakers. You'd love to see Spencer Anderson get in the backfield here. What the Lakers usually like to do here is bring Neil Wagner on a blitz off the edge, and he generally uses his speed to really get in the backfield quick on these 3rd down situations.
Quarterback drops back to pass. He's looking downfield. High throw, and Anderson's going to get the pick. Anderson down the left sideline, and Anderson's going to get the ball to the 45-yard line as Lake Oswego forces another turnover. Mr. Anderson on the interception.
And you're really starting to see this Laker defense show what it's capable of doing and its ability to turn a game around just like that. It was only a couple minutes ago that the Panthers were up 7-0. All of a sudden, now it's 13-7 Lake Oswego, and they have the ball back inside of Panther territory.
And Justin Ruppy will have the ball in the shotgun on 1st and 10. But Jack Anderson is one of those players that seems to does it all. For those of you people who like to play golf, he's like a hybrid. Seems to do everything for you.
Good solid run right there by J.B. Holmes. Good push up front from the Lake Oswego offense.
Ruppy coming in. He's got the play call, and it's going to be a 2nd and 4 for the Lakers as they are in South Medford territory. Clock at 3:25 left here in the half. Ruppy in the shotgun. Ruppy takes a snap. Looks downfield. He's got Pallarmini who just burns by his defender. Touchdown, Lakers.
Wow, another beautiful pass right there by Justin Ruppy. Obviously, great job by Nick Palomini of creating separation. Did a little fake post late in his route, and that created the little bit of separation that he needed from the corner for a big play from the Laker offense. 19-7 right now, Lakers.
And it looked like St. Nicholas came early this year as he gives Nicholas Pallarmini the touchdown. Nick Pallarmini burns his defender. And it seems like every receiver in this receiving core has been able to do that this year. With 3:10 left, Lake Oswego up 19-7 as Griffin Graves will sink the extra point attempt and make that 20-7 Lake Oswego.
Yeah, I think that this is exactly what Lake Oswego wanted. You were down 7-0, obviously not a great start. Shut out in the first quarter, come roaring back here in the second quarter, force multiple turnovers, multiple big plays, great throws from Justin Ruppy, just beautiful touch passes, and they're on the scoreboard and now leading 20-7 with 3:10 to go here in the second quarter.
And wow, Lake Oswego, who was down 7-0 and looked like they weren't getting anything to go, all of a sudden has jumped on South Medford in the second quarter.
Yeah, I think Coach Corey might have had a few words there at the end of the first quarter, and I think it's really had some impact on these Lakers, who did start slow last week.
And a shout out to Laura Thomas. Tyler thinks you're amazing. Special shout out for you. As Lake Oswego at 3:10 here, up 20-7. It's going to kick it off deep to South Medford as South Medford's went up 7-0 in the first quarter, and Lake Oswego scored 20 unanswered points. Reese is going to get a high but short kick towards the sideline. He's going to muff the return, but Washington's going to tackle and make sure he's down. But another miscue by South Medford in the second quarter.
You know, originally on the first kick, I thought it was just not a spectacular kick by Harrison Reese, but now I'm starting to think it's a pooch kick by design to keep it out of the speed keep the speed of the return men of South Medford limited. And as you saw right there, it works pretty darn effectively. Try and make someone who's not used to catching the football catch the football. Drops at Lake Oswego, almost forces another turnover.
South Medford in the shotgun, two running backs. One to the right, one to the left, two receivers to the left. 1st and 10, but the ref throws a flag.
I think this might be a false start on South Medford, and they're really starting to implode right now. They played such a perfect first quarter against this Lake Oswego team, but they're now trailing 20-7. And it is a false start, and that'll push them back, and now they're playing from behind the chains. And if you're South Medford, now you're going to have to start thinking about throwing the football in order to get back in front of the change.
Again, South Medford in that formation. Hands off to the left side. And Jordan Horrocks going to be one of the many tacklers as Neil Wagner, Nick Underwood, and Mitch Lomax are in on the tackle.
Yeah, once again, South Medford trying to get to the edge right there. The running back has some pretty good speed. Another great job right there by Romello Washington of keeping contained and forcing him back into the flow, into the awaiting arms of Mitch Lomax.
South Medford, quarterback in the shotgun, high snap, takes it, hands it off, but Mitch Lomax just brings the kid down hard. Mitch Lomax, the man-child, will get the tackle after a 2-yard gain. Make this a 3rd and 6 for South Medford with clock ticking down towards 2 minutes.
Yeah, I wouldn't really want Mitch falling down on top of me. He's a big dude. This is a big down coming up for both sides of the football. South Medford, obviously, they don't want to give Lake Oswego another opportunity to score before the end of the half, especially with Lake Oswego receiving the second half kickoff. And if you're Lake Oswego, you would love to get a stop here, maybe even an incompletion to stop the clock, save those timeouts, and run a little 2-minute drill.
Quarterback drops back to pass, looks towards the sideline. He's going to hit his receiver just past the first down. That's a first down, South Medford.
Yeah, Chad Walker on the coverage right there, if I'm not mistaken, and he was playing deep. He wanted to make sure he didn't get beat deep, and he didn't get beat deep. He just got beat a little bit short, but enough for the first down. That'll move the chains. That's a big play right there if you're South Medford. You can probably, unless Lake Oswego decides to use their timeouts, run out the clock here in this first half and go into halftime only down 20-7.
South Medford, handoff to the right side. He's going to get tackled after a 2-yard gain. As the clock ticks down to 1:20. If you're South Medford, you want to hurry up here. You want to try and get a score, as you said, Mitchell. You would love to go into halftime only down 6 if possible. South Medford has the play call. They're in the shotgun with a minute left, just under a minute now. Quarterback takes snap. He's going to look towards the sideline, and he's going to find his receiver, and they're going to say it's incomplete, just out of bounds on the catch.
That was
close call.
Great job by the South Medford receiver here. From my vantage point, it looked like he got both of his feet in and made a spectacular catch, but refs obviously have a better view than I do, although I don't know if it's the correct view tonight. But they're good call there by the refs, and it looks like that'll bring up a 3rd and 8. And once again, this is a big down for both teams. Incomplete pass. Lakers get a chance for a punt return. Jack Anderson can make some magic happen.
And the quarterback drops back in the shotgun. Anderson's right on him, though. He's going to somehow throw it away. Surprised there's not a flag for... Surprised there's not a flag for intentional grounding. He was going down, and he threw it away. But the ref said it was a clean play, and now it's going to bring out the South Medford special teams.
I think he might have gotten outside of the pocket right there. Pockets defined as where the tackles are. He draws a straight line back. I think he might have just escaped that, and that gives you the quarterback the ability to throw the ball away at any time. But this is a good chance for Jack Anderson to really make a big play on this punt return.
And the punt is a low line drive. Anderson's going to go down low and catch it.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see the play calling Coach Corey does here. He could try and take a couple more deep shots. He's been fairly successful so far. just caught a long pass play to Nick Palomini for a touchdown. Also, Connor Griffin with a touchdown catch, and there's been some really beautiful passes thrown by Justin Rupi. Should be interesting to see if he's content going into halftime with a 20-7 lead, knowing that he's going to get the ball coming out of the second half.
And Justin Rupi's in the shotgun. Griffin isolated on the left side. Jack Anderson in the slot. Palomini to the right. Rupi. Handoff to Holmes. South Medford got some great penetration. Took out Rupi just as he was handing the ball off.
Yeah, South Medford's bringing a lot of A-gap blitzes, right between the center and guard, and they're not doing a great job of picking it up in between. And I think that may be the last play of the first half here for the Lakers.
And it looks like Lake Oswego will go into halftime with the 20-7 lead. Lake Oswego had a very interesting second quarter as they jumped on South Medford. South Medford did have the lead 7-0 going into the quarter, but Lake Oswego scores 20 unanswered points here in the second quarter. Lake Oswego 20-7. You're watching Laker Broadcasting. So here we are for the second half here at Cobb Field as the clock's ticking down. Lake Oswego will receive the ball because they elected to kick. They deferred the toss, so. So South Medford will kick off from the 40-yard line. You got Romello Washington and Chad Walker back there to return. And Chad Walker is a guy who's just seemed to climb up the depth chart. Started off the year not seeing any minutes at all. And then as Chad just kept working hard in practice, he started to see some playing time. Last week had a big pick six, moved him into the starting lineup. And so Chad's he's been capitalizing on his opportunities.
Absolutely, and that's what you love to see with the guys off the bench. They get an opportunity to play, they make the most of it, and they end up playing some crucial minutes here in the playoffs for the Lakers.
So South Medford's ready to kick off as we're going to start off the third quarter here. The ball is deep. Washington's going to return it just tiptoeing. And Washington's going to cut up the middle. He's got some daylight. And Washington's going to get tripped up at the 37, but there is a flag back towards the 35-yard line, they're saying. Back judge called it.
Yeah, I think this might be a block in the back on Lake Oswego. It was a big one, and it sprung a big hole for Romello Washington. Actually going to be a holding call against the Lakers. Probably why you saw such a big hole there for Romello, negating that good return.
So Lake Oswego will have the ball at their 24-yard line. Lake Oswego breaks the huddle in the I formation, two receivers to the right. Rupee under center, Spencer Anderson in the backfield. Rupee, hand off to Anderson up the middle. Anderson's going to get a big hit and his helmet's will fly off, and I believe there is going to be a flag for a helmet-to-helmet contact.
Yeah, I think the refs missed a call on one of those in the first half on Jack Anderson when he took a big hit to the face. I think they got this one right. Really big hit taken right there by Spencer Anderson, though. These South Medford defensive players have the ability to really level the boom on some of these Lake Oswego running backs. It is going to be a personal foul against South Medford for helmet-to-helmet contact, pushing the Lakers forward 15 yards, an automatic first down. Good way to start out the drive if you're the Lakers, assuming Spencer Anderson is okay.
So Lake Oswego will be in the shotgun as J.B. Holmes is back there this time with Rupee. Clock at 11:45, 1st and 10 for the Lakers. Rupee takes a snap, hands off to Holmes. Holmes got some blocking ahead of him, but he's going to get a gain of about 4 yards, make this 2nd and 6. And they cross the 50-yard line and get into South Medford territory.
And already here early in the second half, you're starting to see the Lake Oswego offensive line get a much better push up front, allowing J.B. Holmes and Spencer Anderson a little bit more room to maneuver and be able to pick up positive yardage on first down.
It's going to be 2nd and 6 with 11:10 left in the second quarter. Rupee in the shotgun. Underwood this time back there with him. Rupee will take the snap. Hand off to Underwood. Underwood's met at the line of scrimmage, but spins his way for a 1-yard gain.
South Medford's bringing a lot of pressure up the middle. They're liking to blitz their middle linebackers through the A-gaps. They're really doing a good job of getting into the backfield. Lake Oswego, I think if you can run a play action and pick up that blitz adequately, I think you have a great shot for a long ball to either Connor Griffin or Nick Palomini, as we saw earlier.
Justin Rupee in the spread formation. Connor Griffin isolated on the right side. Anderson and Palomini in the slot to the left, and Washington on the far left. Rupee is going to hit Anderson in the middle. Risky pass, but Anderson pulls it in and gets the Lake Oswego first down.
That's a great job of Jack Anderson right there, sitting in the zone. The defense running the zone there. He's just got to find the hole in it and just squat right there. Justin Rupee makes a great pass into the hole in the zone coverage. First down for Lake Oswego.
Rupee again, Lake Oswego, same formation. This time 3 to the right. Griffin isolated on the left side. Holmes in the backfield with Rupee. Rupee takes snap. He's going to hand it off to Holmes, the left side. Holmes gets some good blocking, spins off a tackler. He's heading towards the end zone, but he can get tackled from behind at the 8-yard line. Great running and great blocking from Lake Oswego as J.B. Holmes finds a huge gain right there.
Great play by J.B. Holmes, just making a couple guys miss, and that's all it really takes when this South Medford defense is bringing pressure up the middle. If you can make those first couple guys miss and you get past that first line of defense, you really have a great opportunity to make a big play, as you saw there, and an excellent spin move executed by J.B. Holmes in the secondary.
Rupee this time again in the I formation. 2 to the right. Lomax in the tight end to the left. 9:38 left. Rupee takes a snap, hands off to Holmes up the middle. Holmes runs over the tackler and gets into the end zone. Touchdown, J.B. Holmes.
And what you saw there was a good job by the Lake Oswego offensive coordinator switching up the snap count. South Medford's been getting a good push into the backfield. Justin Rupee went on 2 there instead of 1. Used a hard count, able to get the South Medford defensive line to maybe jump a little bit and have to scramble back. Good job. They make the most of it. Put it in the end zone for 6. Now 26-7 Lakers pending the extra point with 9.5 minutes to go here in the third quarter. And the extra point is good. That'll make it 27-7 Lakers. 9.5 here to go. And if you're Lake Oswego, this is exactly how you wanted this game to turn around. You started off down 7-0, had a couple of turnovers that really hurt you early, able to fight back with a big second quarter, and now you're really starting to think about putting the game out of reach here early in the third quarter. If you can maybe get another turnover. Already South Medford's got to be feeling a little bit shaky on offense. They've had a couple of turnovers the past couple of possessions. They haven't been able to control the ball as much as they did early on in the first half. And I think this Lake Oswego defense really has an opportunity to help the Lakers put this one away.
It seemed like Coach Corey somehow sent a message at the end of the first quarter. And Lake Oswego scored 27 unanswered points all through the second quarter and in the first 2.5 minutes here in the third quarter. And Lake Oswego is starting to click on all cylinders. It took them a quarter to get awake. They're sleepwalking through the first quarter, but found their stride as Harrison Reese is looking to kick it off deep with 9:30 left, 27-7, Lake Oswego. Reese can get a short pooch kick. Runner hits the middle, almost had. He had some running room, but Michael Weiss pulls him down from behind.
Yeah, he was about one broken tackle away between it being him and the kicker from going to the house. And nothing against the kicker, but you generally don't want to have him make a tackle at any point in time.
So South Medford's going to be in the I to the left. They're going to hand it off to the left side. Running back got some blocking over there, but he's going to get a gain of about 2 as multiple Lakers are in on the tackle.
Yeah, South Medford's been really trying to run that sweep from side to side and try and get outside with that, and they really haven't been able to do that so far tonight. This team speed of the Lake Oswego defense really hasn't allowed them to get to the edge and get that big gain that South Medford's looking for.
So it's going to be 2nd and 8, just under 9 minutes in the second quarter. South Medford in the shotgun. 2 to the right, 1 to the left. Quarterback drops back to pass. He tries to hit his underneath receiver, but Austin Fonts gets a hand on it and deflects the pass.
Great play right there by Austin Fonts. That's what you're taught as a defensive lineman. If you can't get to the quarterback, you read his eyes and you try and time it. You put one of those big paws up there, bat that ball down, as you saw right there from Austin Fonts. Great play. Almost created an interception if Mitch Lomax could have changed direction a little bit quicker.
South Medford in the shotgun again. This time 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Quarterback drops back to pass. Looking downfield's got nothing. Anderson's coming up from behind, and he's going to hit him hard. He's going to fumble, but South Medford will recover. Quarterback had nothing downfield, and that's a coverage sack there. Great coverage downfield, had nothing, and Spencer Anderson was able to get some pursuit and gets a sack, and this is going to be a fourth and basically a mile for
Absolutely,
South
Corey. And as you said there, it's a coverage sack, and that's the beauty of the nickel defense, bringing in a second safety in Jordan Horak and being able to use that as an extra pass defender in the secondary, and that just means there's no one open for the South Medford quarterback. Spencer Anderson finally breaks free, uses his speed to chase him down, forcing a punt.
The puncher's going to kick it deep to Jack Anderson. Anderson's fair catching as he stumbles back and makes the catch. And they're going to spot him down at the 47-yard line as Lake Oswego's offense will come back on the field with 7:45 left in the third quarter.
Really good punt right there by the South Medford punter. Lake Oswego had a chance to really start off with good field position, and they do have pretty good field position, but they are on their own side of the field, so this South Medford defense needs to step up if they want to stay in this game, because I think if the Lakers score maybe one more time, they might really start to think about putting this game out of reach.
Lake Oswego in the shotgun formation. Rupi takes a snap, fakes the handoff. He's going to get pressure. He's getting pressure in the backfield, and Lake Oswego's blocking up front wasn't good, and Rupi's going to get sacked for a loss of about 10 yards.
Yeah, I think one of Rupi's issues, he's starting to lock on to one receiver. I mean, I love Connor Griffin especially. He's a really great target for him, but sometimes he locks onto him, and he chooses who he's going to throw the ball to before the play is decided. But I do think that one might be on the offensive line. He needs a little bit more time, especially after going on a play action right there. Need to give him a couple more seconds to be able to make his progressions.
Rupi's going to toss it to the right side. Holmes got blockers in front of him, and Holmes is going to get a gain of about 13 there. Make this a easier third down conversion.
And a great block by Nick Underwood there on the edge. I mean, he was the lead blocker for J.B. Holmes on that play. Picked up the MDM, most dangerous man, lit him up, got him out of the way. Solid gain right there on second down for J.B. Holmes. Bring up a third and a little bit more manageable than third and about 15 to 16 that you were dealing with earlier, and bring it up a manageable 3rd and 6 for the Lakers.
Rupi in the shotgun. Holmes to his right. 6:25 left. Griffin to the left. Pallarmini to the right. Lomax at tight end. Rupi takes a snap. Rupi throws it to Pallarmini on the sideline, and Pallarmini will catch it for a first down, Lake Oswego.
Good quick 3-step drop right there by Justin Rupi. Nick Pallarmini, good timing with him. They're right perfectly in sync together. Beautiful play, beautiful pass. First down, Lake Oswego.
Now Justin Rupi again in that shotgun formation. This time Underwood is back in the backfield with him. Rupi takes a snap, drops back, looks for Connor downfield. Connor burns his player, but Rupi throws it just a little bit too far. He had Griffin on the pump and go.
Yeah, I think they could utilize Griffin a little bit more in the offense. They do use him a lot, and he does end up in the end zone quite a bit. But I think I'm not sure I've seen any corners that can really guard this guy. I mean, he runs his routes so well, not to mention his amazing athleticism, and he's really played well all year. Justin Rupi just overthrew him by a little bit right there.
This time Carson Anderson on the left side at receiver. Rupi is going to hand off to Underwood up the middle, and Underwood's going to get a gain of about 2 yards here. Make this a 3rd and 8.
Yeah, he saw a little bit of trouble with the mesh point there between Justin Rupi and Nick Underwood. Justin wasn't really sure what he wanted to do with that. Obviously reading the defensive end, he wanted to pull it, looked like a little bit late. Nick Underwood had other ideas, thinking that he was going to go up the middle. This will bring up a 3rd and long. Should be a pretty interesting play call here for the Lakers. I expect them to go to the air, most likely to Connor Griffin.
Palomini back in the game. Holmes in the backfield with Rupi. Rupi ready for the snap. Rupi's going to drop back. He's going to hit Griffin, who's... Oh, and there's a hit after the whistle. I'm surprised the ref isn't going to throw anything. This ref's let them hit a lot tonight, especially above the shoulders.
Yeah, I think this South Medford defense knows how to hit hard, and they're utilizing their ability to hit hard because they have delivered some big blows tonight. Mostly, as you said, above the shoulders. I'm surprised we haven't seen a few more flags from them, but they're called nonetheless.
Oh, Connor Griffin muffs the snap, but he just picks it up and runs towards the first down. Connor Griffin gets the first down.
And that's the beauty of having an athletic punter. Yeah, probably not the way the play was designed, but you got an athlete back there. He and Jack Anderson have both shared punting duties this year, and either one of those guys, if they can get to the edge, they can burn you. And as you saw from Connor Griffin there, South Medford's been pretty close to blocking a couple of these punts. They see him drop the ball. They get a little bit more excited. They forget about their containment. Connor Griffin eases to the outside. First down, Lake Oswego.
Lake Oswego got to capitalize here. South Medford, couple miscues here in the third quarter. Rupi under center this time, and Connor Griffin did move early, and the ref saw it. And there is I think they're going to call full start because I did see Griffin move on the left side.
Yeah, you saw the Laker offense once again trying to change up the snap count there. Obviously, not everyone on the same page. Beg your pardon. Cost them 5 yards, not doing too much damage. You'd like to see them take up a little bit more time with this possession. They've done a great job in the second half controlling the ball, much like the Stanford Cardinal do. They like to chew time off the clock, and with a lead, that's what you like to see.
J.B. Holmes in the backfield, Amaker to the far right, Carson Anderson in the slot. Holmes gets a handoff to the left side, and he's going to get to about the 28-yard line. That's going to make this a 2nd and 10 for Lake Oswego.
Yeah, good hard running there by J.B. Holmes. Looks like he's limping coming off the field a little bit. It's not what you like to see if you're a Lake Oswego Laker. Looks like something with his left ankle, if I'm not mistaken. Looks to be a little shaken up, maybe even his calf. Looks like he's trying to walk it off here on the sideline. Big Rondo, the trainer, is going to take a look at him.
And Jack Anderson now in at quarterback running that wild Jack offense. Anderson to the left side. Anderson's got some blocking. He's going to make a cut. He's going to get down to about the 11-yard line. Great running by Jack Anderson.
Yeah, that's been a very successful formation for the Lakers all year. They really like to use Jack out of that, and they show it a couple times a game usually, and then when they've showed it a couple times, him running the football, they like to do sort of the Tim Tebow play action, and he can even come up and make a pass. For those of you folks at home wondering about J.B. Holmes, it looks like Rondo, the trainer, stretching him out on the sideline. It looks like he might have been dealing with cramps in the calf a little bit there. So it doesn't look to be too serious currently at the moment, but we cannot tell for sure.
Jack Anderson runs to the right side. He's got one tackler, and he's going to dive into the end zone. Jack Anderson Supermans his way into the end zone.
Just a great athlete right there by Jack Anderson. Just not really the way the play was designed up. Usually designed to go up to the middle, but uses his speed, reads where the blockers are, gets to the outside.
And the coaching staff giving him the Gator chomp. For those of you fans who don't know Jack is a Florida Gator fan. Looking a little like Tim Tebow on that run.
Yeah, maybe a little more like Percy Harvin or Chris Rainey, but you're getting the right idea.
He even has the number 11 matching the Tim Tebow.
And if you think that's a coincidence, folks, you would be mistaken. That's definitely a Tim Tebow thing. Jack's a big Gator fan.
And the clock is at 3:55 here in the third quarter, and fireworks are going on. Behind the South Medford bench over towards LOJ, fireworks. Wow, we seem to have it all here tonight.
Yeah, that's not something you see every day. But, yeah, I don't know where those came from. Anyway, Lakers lead 34-7 now with 3:55 to go in the third quarter. Looking a little bit more like they have this one in hand. Defense for the Lakers actually hasn't allowed an offensive touchdown. The one touchdown for South Medford came on a defensive score after a fumble by Jack Anderson. So the Laker defense has really stepped up this game, in this game, and really helped out the Laker offense as they started slow.
And Harrison Reese will kick off as Lake Oswego goes up 34-7. And again, Lake Oswego, 34 unanswered points at the start of the second quarter. They got 20 unanswered in the second, and they already got 14 here in the third. Reese kicks a deep kick. There's a flag as the ref blew it dead before the tournament could return it.
Looks like it's going to be offsides by Lake Oswego on the kick, so they'll push back 5 yards and kick it again. For those of you wondering at home, J.B. Holmes does look to be okay. He's walking around on the sideline without any pronounced limp anymore, so that's good news for the Laker offense.
And Reese this time ready. He's going to kick it off from the 35, kicks a line drive that's going to bounce its way inside the 10, and the return man's going to return it. He's going to get drilled at the 26-yard line by multiple Lakers.
Yeah, after having to deal with a 5-yard penalty, the Lakers do a pretty good job. Good job scribbing the kick down by Harrison Reese, not giving the South Medford Panthers too good a field position to start out here on this drive.
And South Medford in that shotgun formation, a running back to his right and left. Quarterback going to drop back to pass. He's going to dump it off to his running back, but Ben Torkelson and Michael Weiss both there to meet him after a 3-yard gain.
Yeah, I think one of the things you're seeing about this South Medford quarterback is he's really starting to feel the pressure, but he's also starting to think about it. You saw right there, didn't really get his feet set before he threw that ball, and he's kind of throwing off his back foot. And if he keeps doing that, it's going to lead to an interception, because this Lake Oswego defense are ball magnets. They find the ball, they make plays on it. They have all year long, and they have today as well.
South Medford quarterback drops back to pass. He's going to hit his receiver in the middle, who gets drilled by Mr. Anderson.
Yeah, it's a big hit right there by Jack Harrison. Good job of doing it legally. You've seen a lot of high hits and late hits from these South Medford Panthers tonight. Good clean hit right there by Jack Harrison. Good catch by Garcia of South Medford. When he's had the ball thrown to him, he's shown the ability to make a play tonight, but overall, South Medford quarterback hasn't had much time to throw the football against this very prestigious defensive line, of the Lakers.
South Medford still in that shotgun formation. Quarterback drops back to pass, looking downfield. This time he's going to scramble, but Austin Fonts comes back and makes a play as he was trying to scramble towards the first down.
And that's a smart play by Austin Fonts of knowing where the quarterback is in the pocket. You see a lot of football players in college. These defensive ends, they'll try and get up the field, and they'll get to the quarterback, and the offensive line will just do a great job of pushing them past the quarterback and opening up running lanes. You saw Texas A&M do that last week to Alabama, and that's what allowed Johnny Football to run right over them.
Quarterback takes a snap. He's going to quick drop, pump fakes, looks across the middle, and Jack Anderson with an incredible one-handed interception. The man does it all. No way. It is Jack Anderson's night. He is a man. He's doing everything. That one's going to be on SportsCenter. Da-da-da, da-da-da.
That was unbelievable.
Jack Anderson. What a play, Jack.
Oh, he's must have that super sticky stuff on his gloves, because that ball was past him, and he just stuck his hand out. It just stuck to it. That was a very impressive interception right there for Jack Anderson. I think maybe a little too soon to call it, but I'd like to say that's the icing on the cake for tonight, folks.
Jack Anderson's sister is up in the booth with us, and the look on her face, she liked that one too. Rupee drops back to pass, looking for his main man, Griffin, who's going to catch it and get thrown out at the 5-yard line.
Yeah, I think the Lakers are going for the jugular shot right now. I think if they punch this one into the end zone, 1:45 here to go in the third quarter, I think they can pretty much call this one a W, start moving in some subs, try and keep people healthy for next week.
Connor Griffin, the air marshal, who seems to bring in anything that's in the air. And J.B. Holmes back in the game after the injury, and he's going to get the handoff, and he's going to creep towards the goal line. He gets to the 2-yard line.
Yeah, I think you'll see the Lakers go to their goal line, sit here and punch this one in, maybe with Nick Underwood leading the way as usual. Probably bring him in motion across the line as they like to do. Punch this one in right here with J.B. Holmes behind that big offensive line.
J.B. Holmes still back there. Rupee under center. Ball at the 2-yard line. 2nd and goal. Rupee. Hand off to Holmes. Holmes. No one's going to touch the man, and he's in. Mr. Holmes is in.
Once again, Nick Underwood leading the way at fullback. Great kick out block on the edge, for opening up a big hole for J.B. Holmes so he can just stroll into the end zone. Another 6 points for the Lakers, pending the extra point. 40-7 here with 1 minute and 4 seconds to go in the third quarter. I think if you're a Laker fan, you're feeling pretty confident right now that you're going to roll out tonight with a W. And the extra point is good. That'll push this Lake Oswego lead to 41-7 with just over a minute remaining in the third quarter. And I think this has been 41 unanswered points here for the Lakers. They started out down 7-0, if you would believe it. If you were here earlier, they were down 7-0 to these Panthers, who returned a fumble back to the house. They've really come out. Their defense has just made a ton of plays, forced a bunch of turnovers, and they've really been able to convert those turnovers.
Lake Oswego 41 unanswered as they lead 41-7 with a minute left in the third quarter. Lake Oswego ran away with this game. And for a score update, Aloha. Aloha at half, up 25-20 on West Salem. Lake Oswego will play the winner of that game. If Aloha ends up winning the game will be played here at Lake Oswego. If West Salem pulls off the upset, the game will be at West Salem due to the OSAA rule that if you have not played a home game in the playoffs and the other team has played 2, you must play at the other team's venue.
That would be interesting to go. They have the black turf, if many of you haven't seen. They were on SportsCenter a little while back showing off their black turf, so that might be a little interesting, although obviously if you're a Lake fan, you'd rather stay a little bit closer to home.
And I don't know if the color will stop this high-powered offense. And we just got an update. Thomas Tyner passes the 3,335-yard mark. It was the high school record for most rushing yards set by Corey McCaffrey in 2006. But Thomas Tyner has set the new record, and he passed it.
For those of you wondering at home, Thomas Tyner will be attending the University of Oregon next year. Should be very effective in Chip Kelly's high-powered offense.
And me and my partner Mitchell are Duck fans, and especially Mitchell couldn't be any happier. South Medford 2nd and 5 here at the 50-yard line. Quarterback hands off up the middle. He's going to get a solid gain, but it's still going to be 3rd and about 2.
And I think that'll wind it down to the end of the third quarter here. Lake Oswego leading at 41-7. They pretty much got this game wrapped up. I think you'll start seeing them cycling through some of the guys that don't play as much, trying to avoid some injuries until next week when they take on either Aloha or West Salem. And I think if they do end up playing Aloha here next week, I think it'll be a really interesting test of really one of the top running backs in the country against probably one of the best running defenses in the country. I think most teams have tried to run against the Lakers. I think some coaches have come in thinking that that's the key to securing a victory against LO, and no one's been able to do it so far. They've gotten behind the chains. They've been forced into 3rd and long situations, passing down, and people like Jack Anderson and Chad Walker have been able to come up and make big plays on the defensive side of the football through the air.
For a score update right now, Sunset is playing Central Catholic, and in the third quarter it is 28-14 Central Catholic, but Sunset does have the ball.
That game's a little bit closer than I would expect. Central Catholic is a very good football team. Gave LO a pretty good run for their money earlier on in the season, so that's a game to keep your eye on.
So South Medford is going to break the huddle in the shotgun, 3rd and 2 here in the start of the fourth quarter. Hand off up the middle, and the running back will fight his way. He's going to get the first down. Short game, but it's good enough for the first. As South Medford moves into Lake Oswego territory, down 41-7.
Yeah, if you're Lake Oswego, you're okay with that as long as the clock keeps moving. Clock's your friend now. You're just kind of waiting for the game to end, trying to avoid any major injuries until next week.
South Medford in the I formation. Quarterback drops back to pass. Looks downfield for his receiver, and it's bobbled as Chad Walker and Jordan Horrock in on the coverage, and they bat it away.
Yeah, they were both beaten on the play, on the double move there by the receiver. They both bid on the hitch and go there. Kind of a deep hitch, but it was a good double move. Offensive line did a good job of protecting the South Medford quarterback, gave him time to make the throw. Good play by Chad Walker to knock that out at the last second.
Another score update. Fourth quarter, Sprague is up on Tualatin, 3-0.
That's a low-scoring game. 3-0. I'd like to go see that. That's like an NFL game.
Depending on who you are playing.
That's true. If you're watching the Seahawks, they will put up some points. They're pretty exciting to watch.
And the South Medford on 2nd and 10 is going to get a good gain of about 8. Make this a 3rd and 2. So it's going to be 3rd down and 2 for the Lakers. South Medford in the shotgun. Quarterback handoff to the left side. The running back's going to get his way for the first down. Another South Medford first down as the clock ticks down to 10:40.
Good job of the Lake Oswego offensive line, defensive line, making sure that South Medford doesn't break off any big plays right here. You just want to keep them having to run the football, keep the clock rolling as they're doing a good job of right now.
1st and 10 from the 33-yard line. Lake Oswego's 33-yard line. South Medford inside Lake Oswego territory as they are in the I formation. Quarterback drops back to pass. He's looking deep, but overthrows his receiver, who is double covered by Chad Walker and Jordan Horrock. I think even if he threw an accurate pass, it wasn't going to be positive for South Medford.
No, I think Chad Walker had great position on that play right there. Inside coverage of the receiver, deeper than him too, just all around perfect position if you're Chad Walker. If that throws on target, I think Chad Walker picks that off.
So South Medford in the shotgun. Quarterback on 2nd and 10, drops back to pass. He's looking downfield, and he's just going to throw it to the sideline. Miscommunication between the quarterback and the receivers. He thought he might have been going deep.
Yeah, I think he just didn't want to get hit there. I think he's doing a pretty good job of having an internal clock, which has been sped up a little bit by this Lake Oswego defensive line, which has laid some pretty big hits on him. I just think threw that one away.
South Medford, 3rd and 10, 10:05 left. Quarterback drops back to pass, looking towards the middle. He has a receiver who's going to bobble it and finally brings it in at around the 11-yard line. First down, South Medford.
Pretty impressive catch right there by the South Medford receiver. Throw was a little bit behind him. Was able to contort his body in order enough to make the catch and juggle a little bit. Still coming across the middle. That's a pretty impressive play from a receiver, knowing you're probably going to take a pretty big hit, and that's a good play.
South Medford knocking on Lake Oswego's door. Running back's going to get stuffed, and originally met by Mitch Lomax in the backfield. Mitch Lomax on the tackle. And a shout out to Grandma Lomax, who just had surgery. Hope you're doing great, Grandma.
Oh, and shout out to one of our viewers tonight, Grandpa Bob. Hope you're having a lovely time down in the rough state of California where the weather is just awful. So hope you're enjoying the broadcast tonight.
And South Medford looks toward the corner, and the receiver drags the foot, and a great catch from South Medford.
That was a really well thrown pass to the outside. Really put it in that spot where only his guy could catch it. You hear that phrase a lot. Only the offensive guy has a chance to make a play on it. You saw that right there, and the great catch by the South Medford wide receiver.
Great play, and that number 11, Adrian Garcia, is the playmaker for this South Medford offense. He's been very quiet tonight, but a beautiful catch right there. He drags the foot. Quarterback overthrew him a little bit, but he made a play on it.
And the extra point is good. Laker lead now only at 41-14 with 9 minutes remaining here to go in the football game. I think if you're Lake Oswego, you'd like to use up some clock here on this drive and put the icing on the cake.
And if you are South Medford, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if they did an onside kick. Down 27, 9 minutes left. No possible way that you're going to come back if you kick it deep. So why not test your luck, see if you can maybe get an onside kick, get another touchdown, maybe make it a 20-point game at 7 minutes. But it's very hard to come back 27 with only 9 minutes left, but miracles can happen. And Romello Washington, and this time A.J. Van Leeuwen back there to return instead of Chad Walker.
Looks like Chad Walker's night is done. He was really great tonight for the Lakers. Felt like he was just everywhere on the field, making plays on special teams, on the kickoff returns. He was really great for the Lakers tonight, and that's what you like to see.
South Medford's ready to kick off. And they will kick it short line drive that's going to bounce towards A.J. Van Leeuwen. A.J. going towards the middle. He's going to get tackled around the 22-yard line.
Harrison Ramey now into the game at quarterback for the Lakers. Looks like Justin Rupe's night is done. Very efficient night passing, as always. And the most important stat of all, turnover-free football for Justin.
Ramey in the I formation. Max Morton in the backfield. Morton gets the handoff up the middle. And he's going to get a gain of about 4 yards. Ramey gets the call from Coach Corey. Back to that I formation. Carson Anderson to the far right. And Max Moore is going to get a handoff up the middle, and he's going to get a first down, Lake Oswego. And for a score update, West Salem just scored a touchdown, so they are now up 28-25 with 6 minutes left in the third quarter. So nail biter over there.
Yeah, although it's kind of a one-man show with Thomas Tyner, but that one man is a pretty darn good one man to have on your football team, and I think they'll hand him the ball a bunch here in the fourth quarter. I expect Aloha to pull that one out, although I do think it will be tight.
Ramey under center. Ramey fumbles a snap but picks it up, and he's just going to fall on the ground as he had nowhere to go. Smart play.
Yeah, good job not turning the ball over there by Harrison. I mean, obviously not a great way to start off the snap by fumbling it and then fumbling it again. Smart play just to dive on top of it, not allow a turnover.
Ramey under center. Daniel Dennis in the backfield. Daniel Dennis going to get the toss, going to cut it up the inside, and he's going to get a loss of about 1 as it's 3rd and about 14.
Yeah, the clock ticks under 7 minutes here. 3rd and 14 for the Lakers. Expect another run play here. Punt the ball back to South Medford.
Ramey this time in the shotgun on a 3rd and long. Lots of miscommunications. I think there's multiple full starts, and the center just wasn't on the same page.
And it is a false start on the Lake Oswego offense. That'll push them back 5 yards, and they'll probably line up and hand the ball off one more time before punting it back.
Ramey under center. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Ramey, quick drop, but he's going to hand it off to Morton in a little running back draw. And he's going to get a gain of about 3, but that's going to bring out the special teams unit and force Lake Oswego to punt, as they do have a 27-point lead with just under 6 minutes. Lake Oswego is going to punt it deep. The ball will go out around the 48-yard line. It's Tyler Coleman back there to punt. And South Medford will have the ball at Lake Oswego's 48-yard line as it's 1st and 10, 5:19 left. South Medford's quarterback under center. He's going to toss to the left side. Running back leaps his offensive lineman at the line of scrimmage. He's going to get a gain of about 5 yards.
Yeah, good job of flowing there by the Laker defense, making sure you're not able to get outside. Good job of wrapping up as well. I mean, clock's running out, just ticking under 5 minutes right about now. So if they can keep them out of the end zone, I think Coach Corey will be pretty happy with this end result.
Quarterback in the shotgun. He's going to throw a screen pass to the right side. Low throw. And that's going to make this a 3rd and 5. And Lake Oswego seemed a little slow in the first quarter, but starting in the second quarter, they turned on the switch and went 41 unanswered until South Medford finally got a touchdown offensively. Lake Oswego leads 41-14 with 4:49 left in the game. South Medford in the shotgun, bad snap and miscommunication between the running back and the running back and the quarterback, but
yeah, the Lakers get him in the backfield for a loss, once again capitalizing on the South Medford miscues, which have really been the downfall of them tonight. They started out, played probably the best quarter of football anyone's ever played against Lake Oswego in the first quarter this year. Had a 7-0 lead going into the second quarter, then were followed by about 41 unanswered points. Their offense was never really able to move the ball successfully against the Lakers, and I think that was their main issue all night long. But this Laker defense has really proven to be a very stout unit.
Lake and South Medford will go for it on 4th and 8. And the quarterback's going to tuck it and run, but he's going to be short of the first down, and that's going to be a turnover for South Medford. Lake Oswego will get the ball with 4 minutes left, and I'm not going to be surprised if they just run the clock out here.
I think that'd be a pretty safe assumption to make. I think you just see them hand the ball off a couple of times. Take their time getting up to the line, and should be pretty solid. Pretty solid victory here for the Lakers.
Ramey under center. Ramey's going to hand it off to Morton. Morton's going to bounce it towards the outside, and Morton's going to get a good gain, and he's going to get a first down here. Strong running from the sophomore running back, Max Morton.
He does a great job of delivering hits when contact comes to him. He really, some running backs shy away from it, and it's like, oh, contact's coming, and they go down a little bit easy. Not him. He likes to deliver a hit just as much as the defensive guy is delivering a hit when he reacts to contact.
This time, Morton in the backfield by himself. Ramey is under center. Ramey, young Kim in motion. Ramey's going to hand it off to Kim on the reverse. Kim's going to use his speed to get the outside, and he's going to get a gain of about 6 yards.
Yeah, they've really showed that they like to use this play with Kim out of the backfield, using his speed, getting him in motion prior to the snap, handing it off to him on the fly sweep. It's a really great play. They use it sometimes, occasionally, when the game's a little bit closer with Jack Anderson on that fly sweep. It's a great play if you can get to the edge, and the key to the whole play is the receivers blocking downfield. If they can hold their blocks for that extra second, the speedsters of LO are able to end up in the end zone.
Max Morton again back there by himself. Kim again in motion, fakes the reverse, Morton up the middle. He's going to get a gain of about 2.
And that's the great thing about that play is you can run other plays off it. You fake the fly sweep that time. It holds the defense for just a second because they're not sure on whether they're going to have to flow and keep containment to the outside on the fly sweep or whether they're going up the middle and going to have to plug the holes.
So the clock ticks down towards 3 minutes. 3rd and 5 for the Lakers. Ramey takes a snap, hands off to Morton. Morton up the middle, bounces around, and he's a get towards the first down. And one of the refs signals that he's short by a half a yard, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Lake Oswego go for it because it is 4th and inches, and they're just looking to run the clock out.
I think one of the things you see out of every single Lake Oswego running back is that really impressive jump cut in the backfield. If they don't like what they see and defensive lineman has managed to sneak through and he's lying on the ground, they're really able to utilize that jump cut to be able to get to the second level. And you see J.B. Holmes utilize it a lot. Same with Spencer Anderson and Morton, right, as you saw there.
And Lake Oswego in the I formation. Ramey's going to hand it off to the fullback, and he's getting towards the first down. Let's see if he gets the first down.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he quite got there. Second effort might have gotten him a little bit closer. It's going to depend on the spot of the official.
Colby Pello on the run, and the ref's going to signal for a measurement as there's 2 minutes, 4 seconds left in the game. Lake Oswego leads 41-14. And he's just short, so it's going to be turnover. South Medford's ball. And another score update. Aloha tied the game up at 31-31 with 4 minutes left in the third quarter.
Thomas Tyner, no doubt, on the score there for Aloha, bringing him back into it. And I think if their defense can hold up for a little bit longer, I think Tyner will be able to get them into the end zone.
And South Medford's backup unit in. Quarterback muffed the snap and kind of just got rid of it like it was a hot potato. And the clock's ticking down towards a minute and a half left. South Medford in the shotgun. Hand off to the left side, running back up the middle.
And clock keeps ticking here now, almost under a minute, with the Lakers leading 41-14. Should be only a couple more plays for Lake Oswego to be able to wrap this one up.
And South Medford runs it up the middle, and they're going to get a first down. Clock will stop to move the chains, but I think South Medford will run one more play here, and then it'll be a Lake Oswego W as they will advance on to the quarterfinals, and they will be playing the winner of West Salem and Aloha that is tied up at 31 in the third quarter. Laker Broadcasting will be tweeting updates of the game, so for any fans who are interested, check out the Twitter of Laker Broad. We'll be tweeting all night about the updates on that game, because West Salem, if they win that game, we will be playing a road game next round at West Salem. Laker Broadcasting will cover that game. If Aloha does get the win, the game will be played here at Lake Oswego. So hopefully Aloha can get the W so Lake Oswego can get another home game for Lake Oswego crowd. And I think that's going to do it. They might need to run one more, but the clock's inside 40 seconds. And yep, they're going to have to run one more play, but Lake Oswego is going to go on to win this 41-14. Great game by Lake Oswego.
I think most importantly, great game, overcoming adversity at the start with a couple of turnovers. Really need to eliminate those errors in practice this week, but it's good to see the Lakers be able to come back like that. They were down early, they had some issues, and they really were able to make adjustments in game, and that's what was key to their victory tonight. And they also stayed relatively healthy, and that's also a big part of football in the playoffs, and they'll be moving on to the next round.
So Lake Oswego goes on to win 41-14. Thank you for tuning in to Laker Broadcasting. Follow us on Twitter for updates on the Aloha game. This is Corey Kuhn, Mitchell McLaughlin signing out, and a special thanks to Trevor Moore and Kelsey Talbot for putting on this broadcast. See you later, Lakers.